Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our RTS podcast series. Today, I'm here with Bimal Soni. He is our VP of ERP Modernization. Welcome, Bimal. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
So we're excited to have a conversation today about what SAP and RISE really mean beyond the bundle. We'll get into extensibility, clean core, and the strategy behind RISE. So with that, Bimal, I'd like to ask you, what is the why behind RISE?
That's a great question. In today's world, the biggest factor that is in executives' mind is the enterprise transformation. And there are two components to the enterprise transformation: the technology transformation and the business transformation, and they go hand in hand. Um, so, with changes in the technology, the changes in the infrastructure, the changes in the software and services, and the changes the way the customers are expecting products and services from the enterprises, the transformation must be done at a really quicker pace. So that means a business should be able to focus more on a transformation and should less worry about the technology behind it. And that's exactly what SAP is offering by creating this RISE offering.
From your perspective, what are the most common misconceptions about RISE?
That's a great question. So, the biggest misconception is that RISE is a contract, a subscription-based contract for SAP's modern ERP, which is S/4HANA. However, in reality, the RISE is actually a packaged contract. It's actually a single contractual vehicle between customer and SAP. However, it includes much more than just the ERP license. And let's just break it down. So, in order for customer to do a successful business transformation, they need to understand how their business processes are currently, performing, and how do they compare to the industry benchmarks as well as the competitor. So, RISE contract includes process discovery. Then comes the core ERP, which RISE contract includes the licensing for the new modern S/4HANA ERP. Also, it includes access to the industry extension. So that's component number 2. When it comes to rolling out a modern ERP, ERP seldomly addresses the needs for business solutions. And many times, customers have to create some custom applications and custom extensions to maintain their competitive advantage, and that's where the BTP comes in. So RISE contract allows credit for customers to use BTP and build the innovations, integrations, and also a custom extensibility on a BTP platform. And it still continues. RISE also includes all the tooling and the infrastructure to run an ERP. SAP customers are of all different shapes and size and different industries, and every customer's needs are unique. So RISE allows a customer to be able to tailor their infrastructure need. Also, the tooling in terms of assessing their current ERP status. And then it still continues, believe me. RISE also allows customer to also take care of the entire customer experience. And many times, a business many times business runs across the boundaries of its own organization. So RISE allows to have the integration with the customers, suppliers, partners using the business network such as Ariba and logistics network, the asset management network. And last but not least, organization needs to prepare their users to run the modern ERP. And RISE also includes the Learning Hub licenses. So it's a very comprehensive offering that SAP has come up with as part of the RISE.
Absolutely. That was very insightful. I didn't realize how much fell into that bundle. So thank you for sharing. How does BTP support a clean core architecture for RISE implementations?
Sure. So as I said, when customers always, the customer's business capability requirements from technology point of view is seldomly met by one ERP or one business system. Customer have to create custom workflows. They have to, integrate with partners. They will have to build some custom, feature extensions of the core ERP. However, historically, this was all done on the core ERP platform, and that made it very difficult for customers to later on upgrade their ERP platform. So SAP is coming up with an approach where they have offered a business technology platform to develop the extensions onto a separate platform than the core ERP. This allows customers to, number one, keep their extensions in a separate place so they can upgrade the ERP much more efficiently, and they can actually take an advantage of all the ERP innovations that SAP is releasing every quarter. BTP also allows them to also take an advantage of the modern services and solutions. If you look at the BTP's offering, that includes some of the core services that BTP platform includes is SAP, the analytics, which is a business data cloud, the integration, the Fiori front end. So all of these services at the end of the day makes it easier for customers to do business with enterprises. And it is very important that as enterprises are thinking about their transformation, they keep in mind the lessons learned from the past, not to customize ERP, and if they have to do it on a BTP platform as a side-by-side extensions.
Right. It sounds like it's a much easier way to do the customizations than has been done in the past, right?
It's probably much efficient to manage, and that's right. It's much easier way to do it, and also much efficient way to manage it from the operations point of view.
So let's talk about process intelligence. What kind of outcomes are companies seeing with process intelligence today?
So the process intelligence really gives organizations ability to compare themselves against the industry benchmarks and the peers. For example, in a given industry, customer may be looking at the inventory turnover, and they can look at the inventory turnover, which is typically in their industry, and they can also further looking into what is the inventory turnover ratios for their peers. So having a process insight and being able to identify those areas of improvement could be life and death in today's times. So the process insight, this is probably only the one area. It also includes end-to-end process that runs in the organization that may start actually outside of ERP, and it may end actually outside of ERP. It allows customer to manage those processes efficiently.
So for organizations that are hesitant to start their RISE journey, what advice would you give to them?
So this reminds me of one of the quote that I have heard, that if the change of the transformation outside the organization is faster than the change of transformation inside the organization, it is very hard for those organizations to survive in the industry. And just to give another perspective and context, another data point. In 2016, the average lifespan of a S&P 500 companies was about 24 years. As of 2020-27, that life is expected to drop to 12 years or even lower. Oh. So what it really means is that those organizations who are not preparing for their transformation are the ones may find it difficult to compete and difficult to survive. RISE is a services offering that allows customers to achieve their business transformation objectives while keeping their focus on the actual business transformation and not worry about the nuances of which hyperscaler to work with, which tool to use,
Mhm.
whether I have the right contract for partner network, whether I have the right contract for ERP. All of those nuances are taken care of, and that means risk associated with all of those decisions are also taken care of. Um, and also having SAP as an advisor, planning your transformation journey right at the start all the way to the end is also a very important partner to have to achieve your goals. So with all of this information, I would say the biggest advice I would say is that take a first step, have a conversation with a partner that you trust or SAP, and see how you can build your RISE transformation journey.
And that's great advice, Bimal. Thank you so much for participating in the podcast today. We enjoyed having you. And thank you all so much for tuning in.